Hello, welcome back. I thought that I would make a little video to expand on my one that I just posted just recently, which is a cartoon portrait one. So if you haven't watched that one, you should go check that out. It will focus on the sketching phase of what I'm gonna do. And I am going to take just one. In that video, I filled up a whole page with a bunch of different faces at different angles. This, I'm just going to do one, and I'll take it from start to finish and show you what happened, like at what point I would take it, call it done, and use it as a sticker. So here we go. I'm not using a reference or anything. These kinds of things don't usually use a reference for unless I want to, like find some specific hairstyle, and I've never drawn that before. So here we go. Circle. That's how I always start. If you, and I'm going so light, always go in with a light hand. I crunch up on my pencil like this, and I'm just careful to be light. It's easier to be light if you draw it like this. My professor always wanted us to draw like that, and it's amazing. It helps a lot, but it's hard to remember. Anyway, so let's have her looking that way. Okay, so, and we always want to make this a curved line, especially if we're turning it one way or the other. We never want it to just be like, you know, you want to have it curved because this is going to be her face, right? So her eye line, let's have it just sort of neutral, just sort of straight. So what's easy about this eye line, what helps a lot when you're turning the face one way or the other, you get the eye line down, and then you can use this little part where it sort of meets the circle to do the eye socket, right? So this is like the point of the cheekbone. Okay, so, and then I'm gonna put on my ear, helps me a lot. And then we'll just connect the jaw from there. And if you remember, we'll know where our ear goes. I can eyeball it now because I've been doing it for so long, but if you need to draw little like markers, little tick marks to help you remember, the eyebrows are going to line up with the top of the ear, the nose generally going to kind of line up with the bottom of the ear. So that is how I find the proportions of the face. I always have to put the ear down. I can do it now because I've practiced a lot. I could put it down and put the ear down last, but I like it. I like the process. I think it all comes together really well. Okay, so we're gonna do like a shirt or something. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just gonna lightly hit her cheeks. And this is partially to help me start to see the extrusion on the page. Help me try to imagine that. And also, it does help me to place her eyes. So if I place these circles first, lines up, right? They're all kind of lined up with the bottom of the ear. So then I can kind of find the arc of that circle and almost, not quite, but almost match the curve of the eye to that little marker. Again, it might take practice at first to find it quickly, but I promise you, if you just sit down and do 2 of these every single day, and even if they don't work out, my drawing teacher always said you learn a lot more if you stop and start from the beginning than if you try to fix something and get frustrated. So if you get to this point and it looks crazy, just stop, move on, do something else. Not every single thing you draw has to be perfect. Not everything has to work out. You're still a good artist if it looks bad. And you still can make good work if that freaking sucks. Which, I don't care what anybody says. If anybody tells you they have a perfectly beautiful sketchbook and everything is awesome, they're lying. Because it's impossible. It's impossible. Okay, let's get back on track. So, I've got her head, her face, I mean, pretty much in. So, I'm going to do her hair. So, I'm going to try to walk you through what I do. So, usually I start with what side I want to have as like the lesser side. So it'll be like the lesser side of the part. So like if her part was going this way, right? Her part's on this side, so there's less hair. So instead of putting the part, I don't usually draw that in. I did when I was first starting. I would draw in the part. It helped a lot, but I don't need that anymore, so I don't. I usually just put sort of a curved line. Sometimes I'll do one of these right there, so it's like a little tendril. And then from there, I usually will do the other side. So I really like for it to go kind of up at this kind of like pointy angle. So it kind of goes out away from the face because it would be laying on her forehead, right? And then gravity would take it about right there. And then, so this looks crazy right now. It's out by itself, but we've given ourselves sort of a marker to have some other flowing hair, right? We know that if we go too far past that, it's going to be too much. So sometimes, even if it looks weird, leave it down, see how it goes. Just remember that always bringing the whole thing up together. So if you are working on her hair and it's not working and you're super frustrated, move to something else, do something else. If you are finished everything here, give her a shirt, add a collar, add some flowers, you know, just change directions. And your creative mind is pretty good about adapting to stuff like that. So I'm gonna have her hair coming down on this side. So I'm gonna just do an S. And I'm not even like, I don't even usually, depending on the style, but I don't usually go in and put like the whole shape of the hair down first. I usually build it line by line. So if I have these two lines, right, I can sort of see where the rest of the hair would be. Your mind starts to fill in what else should happen. So one thing that we want to avoid when we're doing hair is for every mark to be the same. And I do that so I'm going to start here and I'm going to come this way. We'll make it thicker. Okay, so it's like a, I don't know, like a fish body almost, like the body, right? So you're here and this curve is going this way. So at the very end, I'm going to go the other way. And you just have to kind of find like where they meet. And sometimes it looks weird like that. That one's a little bit too like perfect. So there we go. And it sort of does this thing, right? So it sort of helps with the ends. It gives them an illustrative quality, right? Hair wouldn't do that for real. We got an alarm going off. Hair wouldn't usually do that for real exactly at that like angle, but it doesn't matter. It's a cool style and I love it. And I think you might too. Okay, so on this one, instead of finishing off with the little mark at the end, I'm just gonna go this way, make that curl a little fatter, move on. All right, so at this point, I feel like it's pretty much done. I would probably add in a little thing right there. Maybe get rid of that one because I don't really like that one very much. I just bring that in there. And then from here, we'll just do like little extra bits. So just sort of find a line and just add to it, right? It doesn't have to be like, hair is not perfect. Hair does whatever it wants. So if you are drawing and your lines go kind of crazy, it usually works out for hair because that's how hair is. It does what it wants. It's influenced by the wind. It's influenced by, you know, the way you move, by the way your clothes are, by, you know, all those things. So we can really do a lot with it. And it doesn't have to be perfect to say what you want to say. That's the real key. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna make sure that we're hitting our dark spots, which is always the nostrils, the pupils, and the corners of the mouth. Always, always, always. If you take a picture of any person and you bump up the saturation so the colors start to all turn light, the last spots you will see is the pupils, the nostrils, and the corners of the mouth. I promise you, try it with any picture. So if we do that, it really gives your mind, which your cute little human brain loves to try to solve things for you before you think you know. So when you look at that and it sees those points, it's like, ah, face. Cool, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, so there's that face. We're done with that. So now I'm gonna grab another color. So this is, I was just gonna show you, this is Shapira Farben. This is the colored pencils that I have. I think I got like the 120 set. And I really don't use them like the way colored pencils are necessarily intended to be used. I pretty much use them exclusively for sketching, but I love it. And they erase really well. They're really pigmented. They're really smooth. They're really nice to draw with. I really love them. And they are sort of they're on the more reasonable end of colored pencils. I will say they are still, you know, sort of pricey, but you can get smaller sets and they're awesome. So I would definitely suggest that if you need some colored pencils or some good sketching pencils. And then this is just a normal rubber eraser. Used to be strawberry scented. Okay, so for this one, I've mentioned this in the last couple videos, but we just need to make sure we're not copying every single line exactly. We are not changing the color of the sketch. We're tying it down. Tying it down is, you know, the fancy art word for just tightening up the lines, adding some dimension and movement, taking it just one step past a quick sketch. Be thoughtful and move slow. I always mess up on this jaw. I always go line all the way around it and then I always mad. So I'm gonna stop right there. We'll come back. And you can let some of these peach lines or the lighter lines, so this first sketch pencil, I should say, should always be a little bit lighter than this pencil, just so we're cleared on that. So the lighter pencil, you can still see it. It's still playing a role in what you understand about this hair, right? This hasn't totally taken over. It's emphasized. It's made it clearer. It's made it a little bit more interesting. And that's what it's supposed to do. Everything you do should add to it. And if you feel like you're getting to a point where what you're doing is taking away from what you're making, move on. Move to something else. I have books, probably a accumulation of multiple books full of sketches that aren't done because I got frustrated and I just moved on. But then, you know, years later, I go back and I'm looking through my book and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Why didn't I finish that? And then I finish it and it's, you know, I'm super happy with it. So that happens to me a lot. So this is why you keep your sketchbooks. This is why you don't erase. You know, trust yourself a little bit. Maybe you did something that you don't know, you don't understand right now, but maybe you'll get it in a couple years. Okay, cool. There's that. Now, let's add some color. I'm gonna grab my Ecoline brush markers. These are my favorite right now. I did this in my mixed media pad. So if I went in with my alcohol markers, which I already also really love, it would bleed through to the other side. So in a couple videos or so, I'll probably switch to my marker pad. It's just a very different experience all around to draw on the marker pad. So I'm gonna do this for now. And right off the bat, I wanna do these. I love these. So I literally, when I pick this, I'm like, oh, I love this color, let's try it. And I've tried all these colors, but you know, color, I think the color you're drawn to changes day by day, at least me. Because if I'm in a really, really good mood, I actually tend to be more subdued if I'm in a really, really good mood. And this doesn't mean I'm in a bad mood. I just want to do something fun. But in general, I tend to do something a little bit less saturated if I'm feeling awesome, if I'm, having an awesome day. And if I'm not, a lot of the work that I do is super bright. And, I have mentioned on my Instagram, if you follow me, I struggle a lot with mental health. I've been diagnosed with ADD and a major depressive disorder. So I'm on all sorts of medications at all times of the day, which is awesome. I love it. And it works great for me. But sometimes I do have down days. And so I like to pick colors that are super bright. And these Eco Line brush pens are, they're amazing. They're so good. I have so many of them. I have all these colors. I love them. So anyway, moving on. I'm going to do these. I really am. I love them. So I'm going to start with this one. We'll put this one in for the deepest shadow. So we're going to hit her eyelids. And don't worry, they look blocky. It all works itself out in the end. It really does. I promise. If you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, end this video, this can't be good. I promise you, follow me through this journey. Okay, I'm gonna actually leave that right there so that I can fill in that little spot with that. And then I think I'm gonna line the side of her face with this instead of with that. So this is cool. We have this like purple line, peach line, magenta line. So I'm gonna have the light coming from this side. So that means there's gonna be a shadow on this side of her nose, which means this hair, having the light come from here, is gonna have this little shadow underneath there. And then from here, this is going up and over. So this will be underneath. Okay, and then this right here will be underneath. We'll combine these two shadows. And then, I don't know, I don't want to go too heavy-handed. Let's stop with this, do a little with this, and then we can come back if we need to. So I'm gonna go put in some other color just down in here on, I don't know, I'm not necessarily using this as purely shadow. This is also just sort of like an interesting color just to add into it. Not every color that I add has to play a role or truly like lend something to the design or the structure or the integrity, right? Sometimes it can just be that it freaking looks cool. Okay. I'm gonna fill this in actually. You know what? And this. We don't want this to come to a straight line, right? So just be mindful of the end of the hair. I'm using strokes that sort of match the movement, so I'm not just like, right? We're following the lines. And sometimes I do, sometimes I work on things, and part of what I want to do is just straight lines, and those always look awesome. So that's what, you're going for, then that's awesome. But if you want it to feel a little bit more flowier, follow the lines of the hair. Okay. So there's that. Ooh, pretty. It's like cherry limeade. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna put something on her cheekies. Let's just do pastel rose. Sort of a cool pink, which is along the same lines as that magenta, which I didn't have to do. Sometimes I like to just use even like yellow is cool for the cheeks. You know what? We can even just go like this. If you add Just a little shot of yellow right up on the cheekbone. Just love it. Okay. Now, I don't think, yeah, actually I'm going to do, so I lost that peach line that was cool in that green, and so I'm just gonna line it. We're good. And then I'm just gonna put some like just movement lines. Oops, I went off the line, but that's okay. That's fine. They're two different pieces, right? Okay. I'll do this right there. I think that is cool. Okay. So fun. So it's gotta dry just a little bit. I think it's mostly dry. In the meantime, I'm gonna pick a pen. Oh, what do I want to do? So I have my little pens again. So I seriously, you guys, I love just these Papermate Inkjoy gel pens. They're just at Smith's. They're, I don't know how much they cost, but they're just like regular pens, like office pens. And I love them. They come in these fun colors. They lay down really smooth. So I have these. I also have, this is a roller pen. It's not gel, but they have these super like crazy fine tips. So you can get like really cool little lines. I think I'm going to do a blue though. Yeah. I'm going to do blue. So where do I want to start? Let's start on her eyelashes, because I can see that shape pretty clear. Get her little eye. Okay. Get this corner of her mouth. If you're feeling brave, sometimes if you put just a little dot right there, it looks like a little part in the lips. It's very easy to overdo it though. That was like nerve-wracking to do that on video. Cool, so I'm gonna define her face in there amongst her hair. I'm going to her neck. I'm just gonna leave that little like green situation. I like that. I'm gonna do that again. Just leave a space in the shadow so you can put the extra color. Sort of like reflective light. If you have studied light theory and, you know, like value spheres when you draw them, right under where the edge of the object is, like this meeting is always the darkest, and then reflective light fills in this bounce light, fills in this shadow with a lighter value. So that's the theory behind something like that, and it's so cool. Okay. It's just filling her eyes all the way. No use messing around, you know. I really like to do these pointy like eyelids. Obviously you can leave them out. If you don't, I'm gonna do some freckles. Okay. And then I'm gonna do eyelashes on the bottom. So these are obviously super unrealistic. Nobody would ever have eyelashes like that in real life, unless it's like, you know, whatever. But I don't need to put a line. I don't need to make you understand every part of what's happening right there. With these simple little hash marks, you understand the shape of the eye. You understand what those are. And it actually helps to push the clarity of the illustration, I think. Okay. Now I'm just gonna grab, I have this colored pencil, it's coral. I like to do this for little lippies, a little lippy. And then I'm gonna do her little cheek apples of her cheeks and her nose. The underside. So, your cheeks, your nose, your forehead, and your ears will always sort of have a red hue to them. That's where you have the most blood on your face, right? So if you like look through your ear, it's always kind of red, like through the sunlight. So adding it to the ear, sort of a red, it doesn't have to be red, but warm. So orange, yellow, like I said, works if you're pushing something really interesting. Orange, red, you know, coral, a warm pink. So like this is a cool pink. So this right here would be like a warm pink. So you could do something like that. Hey, let's do it. Sweet. Ooh, I love that. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna hit this right up here too. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love it. All right. So I think that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this little, I do not even know what this is called, you guys. I got it on Amazon. It's all in another language that I don't speak and I don't know. So, but it's awesome. It's on Amazon. It's like a, it has a inkwell. It's a brush tip, just straight black. I think it's India ink even. So yeah, it's awesome. Eyelashes, eyeliner maybe. Oops. Number one rule of makeup, you start at the inside corner, you guys. Okay. All right. Well, there's that. That feels done to me. This is something that I would take and scan it in and take it into a sticker. So I love this. I love this process. If it works for you, let me know. If you get a muddy color and these colors don't work well together, just set it aside, try a new one, try again. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Tag me on Instagram so I can see your work. It's @by Lisa Jenkins, and we will see you next time. Bye.